Our next speaker is an artist, musician, and actor, amongst numerous other things. He was born and raised in Melbourne, Australia, but currently resides in Southern California with his wife and son. He's the president of the international nonprofit ministry Life Without Limbs, and in his spare time enjoys reading, swimming, and painting. He has traveled the world sharing his talents and story with countless individuals, inspiring them to find their passions and love all out. Ladies and gentlemen, he's come to kick off the first session of the 87th National FFA Convention and Expo. Please give it up for our first session keynote speaker, Mr. Nick Vujicic.
Thank you very much. Well, hello everyone. How are you? Love you guys very, very much. It's my privilege and honor to be here tonight. Thank you to the FFA for having me here. Man, you guys sound so good. The band is so good. You guys are awesome. I want to thank you for sharing your gifts and talents, guys. I just want to tell you that I'm here tonight to help you excel and really reach your full potential in any area of your life. In the time given to me, I'm going to fly through a lot of things, but I always open up with a couple funny stories. You know, when people, they look at me, they freak out a little bit, especially little children. They're like, what happened? And I say, cigarettes. I love freaking little kids out, man. I love freaking adults out as well. One day I was on the beach and I had my little foot under the sand, and this woman came up with her dog, and she came up and she said, wow, that's amazing. And I said, what? She said, how long did it take you to bury your legs in the sand? And I said, oh, a very long time. She thought that I had my hands inside my shirt and that I'd bury my legs in the sand, so I didn't move deliberately. And I waited for her to say goodbye, and she said goodbye. I said goodbye. She walked away, and I waited for her to look back. She looked back, and I started walking like this. You should have seen her face, man. She was like... The funniest story of all, one day I was in a car, and when you see me from the outside of the vehicle, all you see is my head. And so we're at the traffic lights, I'm in the front seat, this car comes up next to us, this girl's looking at me. So I'm looking at her. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, I'm looking at her. And all she sees is my head. So just imagine, all you see is my head. And she was like, ah! Yeah, I've done some crazy things. Even on a plane, we actually dressed me up as a pilot and greeted the passengers as they got on the plane. I mean, the list goes on. I never got handcuffed though, which is good. Guys, I'm 31 years old. I graduated at 21 with a double degree in accounting and financial planning. Never became an accountant, never became a financial planner. I'm now a speaker. I travel around the world. I've been to more than a quarter of the world, 54 countries. Just last year, we did 26 countries, and I was speaking with 7 presidents and 5 governments about helping children with disabilities to go to a normal school, teaching society values and principles, and putting even my curriculum of values and principles and character in the schools of countries like Dominican Republic. And so wherever I go, I always want to impart vision and impart dreams, and I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you're going through. And I'm not a guy to say that I'm going through something worse than you. I actually believe that it's worse being in a broken home than having no arms or legs. When the doctors saw me, they didn't think that I would walk. And when I realized that I was different from everyone else, I knew that I had no arms and no legs, but it was more of my fear, the fear of being alone, that was disabling more than anything. I would come home every day and being bullied and teased, not knowing what kind of life is ahead. You know, people, they come up to me and say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I don't know, 3'3". Like, I didn't know what I was going to be. And, when I was, 8 years old, in 1990, I couldn't see what was ahead for me. Today, I can tell you that I'm so happy. Because I'm so happy. I really am happy. I love my life. 2.5 years ago, me and my wife got married. And 1 year and 1 day after we got married, my son Kiyoshi was born. He's 20 months old and he's already my height. And he's just so beautiful. And I never thought that I'd be able to be happy. Like when I'm a child, I'm like, I'm not going to get married. I can't even hold my wife's hand. But you don't need hands to hold her heart. Well, I'm not going to be able to hold my kids when they're crying. What kind of a father am I going to be? Yes, it's true that how many hugs I have with my son and how long it is and how tight that hug is not dependent on me but on him. But if I can be a father to him, that he loves me so much that he would initiate a hug, then I'm doing okay. And surprise, surprise, 3 or 4 months ago, he gave me his very first hug, and it was the best hug I've ever received in my entire life. You see, as a kid, yeah, you can applaud to that. If you only believe what you see, you're going to miss out. How many feet do I have? 1. You only see 1. Maybe you can only see what you can see. I could never see that I'll become a speaker, an author, doing what I'm doing. I have a nonprofit organization and we've given away $600,000 around the world. And I love being here at your convention because the first time I realized how powerful farming is and how it could honestly change the world is when I went to Liberia in 2008. She was my first president I had met, Madame Sirleaf, Nobel Prize winner. And a $30 income per month is the average for the family. And those $30, every single dollar is spent on imported rice all the way from China. And I asked, why don't they grow their own food? They said, well, the culture is if you grow your own food, you're a second-class citizen and people look down upon you. I said, don't they understand? They don't need to spend $30 on rice. They can grow their own fruits and veggies and grains. And I want you to know that I'm not here just to speak about stuff. I'm going to talk about your career in a second, but I want you to know to think bigger. Don't just see and believe what you just see and not think of anything more. There is more to come in your industry. There is more to come in your generation. I actually believe that it's your generation that will actually end world hunger. And thanks to social media, I only have 5 million fans on Facebook. One day, our goal is 400 million fans on Facebook, giving $1 a month, where 100% of all proceeds go toward feeding the hungry. But it can't just be feeding them. We need to educate them, give them a fish or teach them how to fish. I want you to know that you and what you're doing can actually change lives and possibly be a part of changing the world forever. Don't just focus on what you can see. Technology and everything you're learning can always be applied. For me, in my life, I looked at my life and I could only see what I could see. And I never thought I'd be who I am. And I just want you to know in your own heart, sometimes negativity overtakes you. Sometimes fear stops you from trying or trying again. Let me show you what fear is and courage. I'm going to jump off the table and do a backflip and land on the stage, okay? Are you ready? Girls, are you ready? Boys, are you ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm joking, man. Are you serious? If I did that, I'd break my arm or something. But encouragement brings you closer to the truth of all that you can be and all that you can do. But it's the discouragement that takes you away. You see, I never saw a hope plan in the future. My parents, they believed in God, and I didn't want to have a faith in God because why did He give me less? And for many years, I didn't understand that I could still be His hands and feet and be a miracle for someone else. And if I could just bring one more person to heaven, everything makes sense. I mean, arthritis is going to give me, arms and legs is going to give me arthritis later on anyway. But I just want you to know that my faith helped me. What I wanted you to see this, you only see one foot, but believing in what you don't see is faith. You see this little foot here? It's a little cutie. And it's quite shy. It just hides up there nicely. But what you got to understand is when you can't see vision for your life, you got to understand the difference between the truth and the lies. And the first thing I want to talk about is your value. Who are you? Oh, you're ugly. Oh, just give up. You'll never be anyone. You'll never get a job. You'll never get married. You'll always be alone. You'll just be a burden to your parents. You'll never be anyone. Nick, just give up. Have you ever thought of giving up? Is it because of what people say about you? Why are you so worried about what people say about you? Why are you so worried about how you look? Let me ask you, do you think I'm cool enough to be a friend? Oh, thank you very much. But I have no arms and legs. It doesn't matter, right? So if it actually doesn't matter for how we look, then why do we tease each other and kill each other with words if it actually doesn't matter? We are not valuable because of how we look. Many men think that they're valuable because of how much money they can bring to the table, to the family. Wrong. I would rather be a poor man to never hurt anyone than a rich man who hurts one person. Meaning, I'm not perfect, but money doesn't define me or the value of who I am. I tell so many people all around the world who are politicians, how can you expect to honor your country when you cannot expect to even honor your wife? You got to honor your wife before your country, and you got to be a good father to your own kids before you can lead the next generation. I will do my best to give my son opportunities for his future and opportunities that I've never had in my life. But more than opportunity, I want to give my son a father. I want to be his father. Don't be too busy. Family is so important, and I'm thankful for mine who encourage me every day. My mom and dad, they dressed me up, they brushed my teeth when I was a kid. Okay, Nick, are you ready for school? Yes, Mommy. Are you going to do your best? Yes, Mommy. Now, don't worry about what anyone else says. You're just special. And I'm thinking, I'm just special. Like, I didn't want to be special. I just wanted to be normal. And I would get these bullies and all these seeds of lies growing in my head and my heart, and they were overtaking me to the point of depression. At age 8, I entered into depression, and at age 10, I actually tried to commit suicide. Imagine how much I would have missed out on. Don't give up. I know you have broken pieces, and so does everyone here. But you don't know what miracles can come from your broken pieces until you give your broken pieces a chance. I want you to give yourself a chance. Don't give up. Dream big. Love yourself in a humble way. Love others, and know this, that you don't know what's around the corner until you go around the corner. If Thomas Edison attempted 9,998 times, he would not have made the light bulb. If he attempted to make the light bulb 9,999 times only, we would not have a light bulb from Thomas Edison today. He kept on going. And someone came up to him and said, "Hey, Tom, how does it feel failing 9,999 times?" And he said, I never failed 9,999 times. Now I just know 9,999 ways in how not to make a light bulb. Failure equals education. We go through life. You see my foot? We all go through ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And it's not like I never cry again. It's not like I'm not scared ever again. But I go through life taking one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Being thankful for what I have. You see my foot? I was actually playing soccer one day, and my friend was quite a way back, and he was ready to kick it to me. And he says, "Are you ready?" And I'm nervous. My knees were shaking. And he goes, "Okay, here it comes." And he kicks this ball so hard, he goes, "Oh, boom." And this thing turns into a missile. Do you understand? This thing is coming after me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You know when something's coming for you and it doesn't matter where you go, you're dead? Okay, that's the feeling I had. And so, have you seen The Matrix? Okay, it's real, y'all. You understand me? Everything went so slow, like slow motion. And this ball's coming for me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to headbutt it? No, it's a little bit too low to headbutt. Can I kick it? No, it's a little bit too high to kick. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have to do something a little crazy. And so I jumped up in the air in slow motion. And while I jumped up in the air, I did a karate kick. And I went, whoo! Like that. And the ball came, hit my foot, bent it backwards, and I heard a and I was like, and my foot went, oh. Now, I need this thing. I love this thing. I got 2 toes. Peace, how you doing? I can type 43 words a minute on a normal computer. And after 2 cups of coffee, 63 words a minute. I mean, I need this thing to work. I mean, for 3 weeks, as a 13-year-old, 3 weeks is like 3 months. And if I had to walk in an emergency, I had to walk like this. Like, what is with that, right? Like, seriously. I felt like I was disabled or something, you know? It's like, what's up with that? It made me think to either be angry for what I don't have or be thankful for what I do have. You guys can't change everything. You can't change the way someone feels. You can't take away regret. You can't take away guilt. You can't take away fear. You can encourage them. You can love them. You can support them. You can listen to them. You can be there with them, but you can't change them. You can pray for them, but you can't change them. I want you to know that sometimes we get so caught up in trying to change something that we cannot change, or wishing that I could change this when I can't change this. If I can't change my body, then I need to be open to changing my heart and my mind, and being at least open and find something that I can do instead of crying about what I cannot do. I realize in my life that the value of who I am is not determined on what people think of me, and my happiness is not from stuff. Everyone say stuff. If you give me all the money in this stadium from all your pockets and all your parents' money and whatever, let's say it's $1 million, let's say it's $1 trillion, let's say whatever money in the world you have, let's say all the money comes into my bank account. I like this story. But then all of a sudden my son dies tonight. Just because. Can money really make you happy? Can money heal your marriage? Can money make your kids happy? No. Drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography. If you put your happiness in temporary things, your happiness will be temporary. Girls, your value is not determined on if you have a guy in your life, a boyfriend or not. You don't need a boyfriend to be loved. Everyone say love. So many girls are with emotionally controlling, abusive boyfriends, and they convince themselves that they're not going to get anyone better. You're right. You're not going to get anyone better unless you dump him. Do you understand? You give yourself a chance. Well, because I love him and he loves me, of course he's going to love you when you give him everything he wants, when he wants, how he wants it. I want you to understand, I did not have a girlfriend in my life unless I felt like she could actually be the mother of my children. I had a relationship before I met my wife, still saved my virginity for my wife so I could look my son in his eyes and say, I waited for your mother. When you do those choices, when you make right choices, you get those blessings. If you make other choices, you have some different things that you have to deal with later on. But I want you to understand that in every part of our life, we're not perfect, but we must strive to be. Just stop focusing on the outside and understand who you are. How beautiful you are. Girls, you're beautiful just the way that you are. You boys, you the man. You don't have to be you don't have to have big biceps. My biceps were so big they fell off. You understand me? You know those guys going to school and they're just swearing it. Saying the F word here, F this, F that, all this stuff. Why? Because they think they're cool and they're bullying people, and that's cool. No, it's not cool. I don't need to swear to be cool. I don't need cigarettes, drugs, or anyone's approval. I know who I am. Girls, you don't need a boy. You don't need a boyfriend. You need a man who stands by you. Guys, you don't need a girl. You need a woman who stands by. And I'll tell you what happened with me and my wife. 3 months into my dating period, we call it courtship in my world. 3 months into being with her and dating her, my business failed. Do you understand? $0 in my bank account. Someone stole $50,000 from me. Someone owed me $120,000 for future gigs. Someone owed me $120,000 for previous gigs. I had a $210,000 cash flow situation. I had to stop my business. And I needed money from my parents to survive. That tapped into my childhood depression, and I turned into a little baby boy. Do you understand? Crying. I had panic attacks. My hair was falling out. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. She didn't leave me. When I told her that I lost all my money, she said, babe, that's fine. I don't care. I'll get a nursing job and support the both of us. That's when I knew she was going to be my wife. And 9 months later, we put a ring in the cream puff. I got her to feed me the cream puff. I ate the cream puff without choking on the engagement ring. And then I said, baby, let me kiss your hand. And I go, mwah, 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 mwah. And I went down on her ring finger. She thought I got kinky for a second. I went down on her ring finger. I didn't lay a hand on her, I promise. And I pulled back and she saw the ring and she started crying. And I said, baby, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And she's crying, 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 crying. And I said, so? And she said, yes. And then 6 months later, we got married. And you know, when I was a kid, I remember when I was 6 years old, the earliest memories of being at a wedding, I nearly cried because I thought I'd never be able to dance with my bride on our wedding night. We danced, and we danced in our own way. And I just want you to know, you don't have to be someone you're not. You just have to be you. Be the best you can be. And my question tonight is, do you like you? If this was the last 15 seconds of breath that went into your body, 10 seconds. Who did you not hug for a while? Who did you not say thank you for a long time to? Who did you not say sorry to? Who should you forgive that you haven't forgiven yet? Live every moment as if it's your last. Be the best you can be. Achieve your goals, achieve your dreams, but in the end, at your funeral and mine, they'll only talk about who you are, not what you did. Who you are changes people's lives more than what you did. And if you can marry those two things together, you're in a good path. Dream big. Don't give up. When you know why you do what you do, courage overrides all of your fear. Why am I not jumping off this table? Well, that's a stupid idea. But if I am on this table and there's no one around me and a fire is coming to this table, do you think that idea now is all of a sudden a pretty good idea? Yes. When you know why you do what you do, you do it. Crying or not, scared or not, here I come, here I go. You want to know who inspired me to be a speaker? Wasn't my mom, wasn't my dad, wasn't my family. It was my janitor at my high school. The one who cleaned the toilets at our high school changed my life. He looked at me one day and he said, "Nick, you're going to be a speaker." And I said, "Sir, you're crazy." And I started speaking in front of small groups because of him. He forced me to. He twisted my arm and I said yes. And then when I got up in front of 300 sophomore students for 7 minutes, within 3 minutes, half the girls were crying. And I was so nervous, my palms were sweaty. And I looked at her and she started crying. She wouldn't stop crying, so I stopped. She put up a hand and she said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can I come up there and give you a hug?" In front of everyone, she came and she hugged me and she cried on my shoulder and she said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's ever told me that they love me. No one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am." That's when I knew I was born to be a speaker. And I want you to know that 9 years ago, I realized something profound. That when you don't get a miracle, you can still be a miracle for someone else. When I was 10 years old, I just wished that I met someone else like me with no arms and no legs, and I wish that limbless man could come and speak to my school about bullying. That would have changed everything. Well, I never got that miracle. So listen what happens when you don't get yours. I was in front of a crowd and I saw a little boy being held up above them all. No arms, no legs, and a little foot just like me. I got the father to bring him up on stage. He's sitting up here, and he's looking up at me. I'm looking down at him. I can't give him a high five, so I gave him a low two. And when I put my little foot on his little foot, he started smiling, and everyone started crying. Words cannot express how it felt to see my mom who's crying, hugging his mom who's crying, my dad who's crying, hugging his dad who's crying. It was amazing. I told his mom that when he goes to school and he gets bullied at school, I'm going to come to his school and go in my wheelchair and run them all over. No, that's not what I said, but I went there to this school 3 years ago and he was getting bullied and teased, and I spoke there at his school, just a simple message of love and hope. And it was life-changing for him. He's now like the coolest kid in the school. I actually have to sit him down and start talking to him about humility. But at least he's not getting bullied. I want to ask you today, what would have to happen in your life for you to look back at it and say it was all worth it? You have your faith and I have my faith, and that's fine. I don't force anyone to change anything about themselves. But when that boy grows up, he's going to have me as an example. So when he feels alone, he's going to remember that he has me in his life. And heaven is real. With Daniel running to me with 2 new legs and hands, he'll come up to me and hug me and thank me for helping me believe that that place called heaven was real. To me, if I can just help one person, it's all worth it. But I want you to know in unity, you guys have a lot of power. You have 500,000 members of the FFA. You guys have more voice, have more power, have more creativity than you think you even had. And I really, really want to encourage you to understand that I'm real. I'm real when I say it's your generation that will actually end world hunger. It baffles me that I have 4 vegetable boxes with zucchini, squash, 400 tomatoes. We didn't know what to do with 40 zucchinis. You want to know what we did with the zucchinis? We tried to give as much as we could away. We couldn't keep up. Some of those zucchinis rotted on my turf in my backyard. You plant a seed, put some drip system, and it grows. And 1 billion people are going hungry today. That is not acceptable. And the last generations have accepted it, and I don't. And the last generation have been waiting for billionaires to stop world hunger, and I'm not going to wait for it. I'm going to wait on you. Because 400 million teenagers could easily come together now with Facebook and Twitter and give $1 a day and end world hunger. You guys can give education to the people all around the world to actually make sustainable models in villages where you can build lakes and put tilapia in there. They've done it in El Salvador. I'm actually going to be starting a 10-acre farm for an orphanage. They're going to be eating off the land in Mexico. It's just with the government. Just got the free land from the government. You will be surprised if you can just start dreaming, and you dream around the world, and you dream in this nation that what you do and what you know is now your responsibility. And please provide for your family. Please be a good husband. Please be a good wife. Please be a good father and mother. But be an amazing citizen of the world in your generation, to unchain dreams and change this world like never before. Thank you very much. Give me a hug.
You're the man.
I love you. Give me a hug. Thank you. Love you.
Mr. Vujicic.
Before you say anything, repeat after me. Say, I today will do my best
Do my best
to love myself
to love myself.
and give my broken pieces a chance.
Give my broken pieces a chance.
I will dream big,
I will dream big.
bigger than before.
Bigger than before.
I will do better,
I will do better.
and I'll work harder,
I will work harder.
and I'll never give up.
I'll never give up.
You can stop repeating for a second. Guys, I really believe that many of you said that sincerely. And I'm telling the youth all across America, October is the National Prevention Bullying Month in America. I'm a spokesman for PACER, National Bullying Prevention Center. Please, 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 when we talk about world hunger, let's talk about, first of all, stopping bullying in our schools as well. You guys got to love each other and stand as one. I just want to leave you with this, to tell you to find me on Facebook, follow me. I have books as well. And for any girls who are interested in my love story with my wife, you can pre-order that right now on any online bookstore. It's called Love Without Limits. My wife's half Japanese, half Mexican, Japsican, and I'll make sure I bring her to Kentucky next time. Thank you guys very, very much. God bless you all. Thank you. Great.
Mr. Vujicic, thank you so much for your time and words this afternoon. Your story of determination and just pure love has inspired us all to go all out, live all out, and most importantly, love all out. Thank you so much for allowing us to realize that we can undo those broken pieces in our lives.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nick Vujicic.
Have a great night.
Got a little gift for you there. Thanks so much. Man.